December 31st, 2026.
Okay, and we have a second on that. Discussion, other than what we've had?
Again, I want to state that that 20,000 doesn't help the local taxpayers. We've already given 68,000. These residents that use the utilities program are already getting fuel assistance and other programs from the state. So there's already 20,000 in the account for this year. Our seniors are taken care of, or those that are on fixed income this year. That 20,000 should go to help another department that needs the funds, equipment. It does not help us offset our taxes. Just point that out. It doesn't, again, not giving the 20,000. I had this conversation with Eva today. That's, I mean, no due respect, Teresa, but, you know, Eva was good with this. We talked about the ban, we talked about, you know, why she chose not to put in for ARPA funds, because she didn't think we'd have the funds for that. So, but I'm okay, you know, at that point, I'm just saying that $20,000, she already has funds in that account for this year. Okay, so I think that money can go to another department. That's what the ARPA funds were for, to help our residents.
Ms. McGuire?
So, George, I know that you said that you spoke with Eva, but did she put the request in for the van?
She did today.
Yeah,
Yes.
did.
She did today. And again, my conversation with her, and we would have got it sooner, but she was on vacation last week, was the reason she didn't put in for the van was because she didn't think we'd have enough ARPA funds for it. Okay? And the point is that we actually do. We can make this work. But, you know, at this point, that again, that 20,000 can go somewhere else. That's how I feel. It's just, it's not offsetting our tax dollars. It's not helping our residents in any ways, which ARPA funds is for.
Well, I would argue that it's helping our residents who are in more need than others. And I think that if I was given that money, I'm a strong advocate that it goes to that. So that's my opinion.
And the economy hasn't gotten any better, so.
No, and again, this money they won't see if they do, because at the end of it has to be spent by December of '26. She has 20,000 now in the account. Marie could probably tell us, she's not spending all that last year, the year before. That's why she has it bankrolled. Come the 20, the residents can only get I think it's up to $500, correct? And there's only, I want to say, was it 30-some residents that are using it, okay? We sign these warrants every time they come through. So my point is, I don't think that money will get spent, because she's not spending, you only can get it one time. And right now, this year's 20,000, she told me today, she's only done a couple that will happen is January. She's starting in January to those that want fuel assistance. And when she came to us, this ARPA fund originally was supposed to be used, this fuel assistance program was supposed to be used to help those residents that when the fuel assistance program that they're currently on runs out. And then this was supposed to be a supplement to help them if they needed it. That's what the originally was for. My understanding, they just been getting the $500, like she just, you know, the people bring their thing, they get the $500 off their electric bill.
May I ask, who set that limit at $500?
We did as a board.
So is
That was set 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, that was set 2 years ago with Eva's help.
Okay.
We could increase that, correct? If needed?
Yes, you could.
Could.
So depending on how that's going, that's something we can look at down the road. Yes.
Again, keep in mind that doesn't help our, ARPA funds were supposed to be used to offset tax dollars in our community after COVID. That's what it was for. This doesn't do that. That's, you know, so I think it's important we keep that in mind, that's all.
Well, I wish we had enough money in ARPA to give everybody everything that they wanted.
I do too.
Unfortunately, we're not in that position. So I thought this was about as good a split of this money where at least everybody gets something, so. All right, any other comments on this?
Can I just make a motion that we just move that to the bottom right now?
I'll second it.
You certainly can. You don't even really have to make a motion. I'll be
All right,
happy to
thank
put
you.
it on the bottom.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, next up.
Next, I'd like to make a motion to move to allocate $34,123.86 of ARPA funds for the purchase of a self-contained breathing apparatus refill station for the Brimfield Fire Department.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
If the chief's okay with that, or do you want to table that until you get the other quote in from the state?
Can we combine it with the hose? And then we can use the funds?
Well, I gotta say this, I'm not inclined to be holding this thing any longer, because like I said, we're rapidly running out of road here, okay? We've gotta get this money spent. So my understanding is that that is the cost of that particular system, is that right?
That's one quote, but since it's more than 10,000, I need 3.
I'm sorry, I can't say it, speak up.
So that's one quote that we have, and it's not on the state bid list. So the other vendor I talked to being on the state bid list, it might be higher.
Okay.
And if I can't get a third quote, because these aren't, you just don't go down the street to get a vendor for these compressors and fill stations. You may be stuck with the state bid number to try to get it done by the end of the month. I'm gonna keep fighting to get the lowest bid, but I think we combine it with the hose one, that gives a little bit of flexibility to use those funds, either for hose, essentially, hopefully get the compressor, the fill station, and then whatever's left, we would use.
I mean, we have a board meeting on Monday, so my thought was maybe for the fire department, we hold that out for them. You know what I'm saying? We can probably make a motion tentatively for a dollar amount, but we can make that decision on Monday.
Contingent upon,
Right?
What did you say?
You do contingent upon.
Good, the next 2 bids.
But, sir, do you think that you can get that bid by, what's that,
Monday.
next Monday?
I can get the state bid one by next Monday. He was trying to get it today, but because these are complicated, it has to go through the manufacturer as well to approve their quote. And that's why he didn't get it to me today by 5. He was trying.
votes by Monday.
You can get both quotes by Monday.
I can try. I can get the state bid one, because that'll be on the state bid list, so that doesn't have to go through. I don't need a third bid,
Okay. So you get.
so.
But, okay, but just understand, as it sits right now, all of the money that's in there is allocated in these, in the suggestion. So if it comes in a lot higher, this may be an offsetting amount on what you need to get, and you'd have to, at the end of 26, to actually buy it. So between now and then, you'd have to come up with the difference.
Right.
If there is a difference.
We have a grant for some of the costs already requested to Department of Fire Services. We have another reimbursement fund from the Mass Bike, so there is some money to offset some of the costs as well.
Or like you're saying, if we take the fire hose and the air compressor, add them up and make it, he can divide the money up how he needs to for the air compressor, right? We have to specifically state.
You have to identify specific items. You can't just put it into an account and say, I'll use some of
Right,
this and
no.
some of that.
Right, but if, for today's purpose, at least today, after our meeting today, Teresa could start issuing purchase orders, working with department heads, do what they need. The fire department, these 2 line items, just set those numbers aside for Monday. And then we'll have a firm number, we can vote on Monday, and then right? And then we got just one PO to cut.
That way, if we have.
Can I suggest it?
You are kicking that can.
Can I suggest, so let's hold off on the $20,000, maybe that can go to the fire department.
What 20,000? Oh, on the council on aging.
Yeah.
So rather than
P&C
down,
in the-
like half of this is gonna be on hold, so I don't know. All right.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not, I mean,
No.
All right, so we've already voted on the 20,000.
Well, we set it down at the bottom.
right, it's not water, we should set it down at the bottom.
I think we should move these 2, to be fair with everybody, to have a couple more quotes. And then if we have to use some of the fire hose money, and we only end up with 1 length of fire hose, and we end up with 1 length of fire hose, and see what the chief needs more.
But can we set aside, well, I don't want to leave the meeting without setting aside the money though.
Right, if we table it, all you do is, you're tabling the 34,000, the 13,000, and the 20,000. So these 3 here, you just table them till Monday's meeting, and then we'll figure out, we might give it back to the, or we'll just give it to the fire department for whatever I think that's fair.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
And we can even, see where the rest of the meeting goes, and then our next meeting, we can just firm up that last, and we're done. Right.
Somebody wanna make a motion to do that? Because I'm not gonna leave here without a motion to not spend this money in case it goes badly.
I'll make the motion that we table the COA utilities assistant program at 20,000, the fire tank SCBA refill station, $34,123.86, the fire hose replacement, $13,576, till our January 16th meeting.
Not January, December.
Oh, December.
Sorry.
December 16th. This time is one.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Nobody's in
Well,
favor?
so do I.
Oh,
Oh,
I said, oh, I'm sorry, Adam's aye.
so do I.
Ms. McGuire?
I'm thinking.
Okay, all right, okay.
I hate to walk out of here not signing this money.
Well, we technically are
Oh, we're assigning
at the
it.
next meetings, right?
But we're assigning it to the fire department.
Well, we're just tabling.
We're just tabling those three
amounts
items till the next meeting.
Okay, so my fear is that somebody else comes in next week. I'm gonna abstain.
Vandal, aye.
Kelly, aye.
So do I.
Okay, next up,
Can I say something in between them? So, I think it's fair, it's a good opportunity too. I think that I want to recognize the hard work that this fire department has done in the last couple of months, with all the fires and everything that's been, all the calls that they've been getting. And I think that the town should know that they've been doing a great job, and it's been a lot of work for them and all the calls. So thank you guys for stepping up to that, and all even the surrounding towns. So thank you for that.
okay.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to move to allocate $15,000 of opera funds for hazardous tree removal along various roadways in Brimfield under the supervision of the Brimfield Highway Surveyor / Tree Warden.
Against the air compressor?
Yeah.
It's all right, let's go back to it.
One second, go ahead, I'll second.
All right. Is there any discussion on that? All right, all in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
Fire aye.
Vandal, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Yeah, moving back up one, I'd like to make a motion to move to allocate $3,299.99 of opera funds for the purchase of the Quincy QT-7.5 splash lubricated reciprocating air compressor for the highway department.
Second.
Discussion? None, all in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
Fire aye.
Vandal, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Next, move to allocate, make a motion to allocate $3,925 of opera funds for the purchase of a wood chipper safety shield to be used for the Brimfield Highway Department.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
Fire aye.
Vandal, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Next up, make a motion to move to allocate $53,685 of opera funds for the purchase of a 2025 Chevy Tahoe four-wheel drive for the Brimfield Police Department.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
Fire aye.
Vandal, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Next up, make a motion to move to allocate $22,410 of opera funds for the purchase of a John Deere loader for the use at the Brimfield Cemetery.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Yeah, they put in for something else though, too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Was there a tractor? Was it 2 tractors or one?
No.
Road paving. What is it? Road paving?
Okay. We got a second
I'll
on
second
that,
that,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, all in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
Dwyer, aye.
Vandal, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Next up, make a motion to move to allocate $5,196.16 of opera funds to the Harriet Harding Trust Fund to provide economic support for members of the community. Funds will be dispersed by the trustees of the Harriet Harding Trust Fund.
Second?
Discussion?
Again, the Harding Fund, just so we understand, goes to other residents outside of our community.
So George, within their request, it says that it would go directly to this community.
Okay?
So I don't know anything about the Hardin Fund, but I'm just.
My conversation with Mitch was, the Harding Fund helps those, that's my understanding, those that need assistance, but don't have, so in other words, you have the fuel assistance fund, the utilities, so there's a whole form they fill out, you have to be on SNAP and so forth to apply for those funds. The Harding Fund, it's a hardship thing. It doesn't work that way. They just meet, if you need assistance for utilities, rent, what have you, they'll look at it and approve it as a board. It's been in existence since 1909. To my understanding, no tax dollars whatsoever goes into the Harding Fund. The town puts nothing into the Harding Fund, so, but,
That is not true. Wait.
go ahead.
In conversation with the trustees of the Harding Fund, I was aware that they wanted to request some ARPA funding. One of the criteria is that none of the funds that are voted by the board using ARPA will go toward the food bank. And the reason for that is that you cannot duplicate federal funds. So we already received CDBG grant funding through the Tri-County. Brimfield at this time is the lead on that grant. So the food bank is funded through that. Throughout the course of a year, the Harding trustees will issue, sometimes they'll allocate funding to the school for the purchase of books needed or something that is needed by the school for the children. They also will do rental assistance. They will help in time of crisis, such as when the town of Brimfield was hit by the tornado. They were very, very active in that. So there's many other areas that they would be allocating this funding to, but not to the food supply, to the food bank.
Right, but they also told me, I mean, that's fine if they're earmarking to our residents. And one of the things I had looked into, I remember with the fuel assistance program that we currently have, because it was ARPA funds, you had to have certain requirements to be met to be able to issue those funds out to those in need. I don't know how that's working with the Harding Fund.
Right, there's an application process that the folks go through. It's the same thing that they had to do during the FEMA recovery through the tornado. It's still federal treasury funds. So it's the same process.
Okay, did you get a second on that? We did, right?
I would like, before we vote on that, to consider some funds from the cemetery that were requested that I think would benefit the town better than the Harding Fund. And then whatever's left over can stay in the Harding Fund.
We have those amounts.
It's in our package. So, yes, the Cemetery Commission, in their request, they asked for crack patching on the roads, which is 110 square yards, to the amount of $4,620. That's a preventive maintenance, something I can do, because the actual road amount to replace all the roads was $53,000, which of course, we don't have funds to do that, but if we can do some of the preventive maintenance for them, in the long run, that helps.
Okay, is that a motion or
Or-
what is that?
Or as if we just go ahead and approve the Harding funds on Monday night, the depending on where the fire department stuff comes in, any remaining funds, maybe we'll have enough from that 20,000 to help take care of at least the roads in the cemetery.
I'm sorry, I'm not following that. Say it
He's
again.
saying that when we get the final numbers from the fire and the, not the fire,
Yep.
that if there's enough money left over, that it can go towards doing the patching that he described. Make sense?
Yeah.
So does that leave us with passing the Harding, or we have a motion in a second? All right, I'm just gonna call to a vote then. All in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
McGuire, aye.
And the line.
Kelly, aye. Okay, so that means all of that is passed with the exception of the 3 items that were held. Those were the 2 for the fire and the council on aging utility assistance. We also have, when we did this, we had 2 numbers, the money that's allocated and the money that was unspent. What we just went through was the money that was available to be spent elsewhere. Under the already obligated money, we need to make a motion on the public water supply incidentals in the amount of $4,100. So if somebody would be kind enough to make that motion.
Yeah, I'll make the motion for the public water supply incidentals in the amount of $4,100.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion?
And what are the incidentals? Do we know?
Yeah, we have legal, we have, go ahead.
The cost of legal, cost of publication for the IFBs, RFPs, and
So that's,
the reporting of the easement.
Right.
okay. All right. Any other questions or comments on that? No? All right, all in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
McGuire, aye.
And the line.
Kelly, aye. And we have the historical archival preservation supplies, in the amount of $167.18.
I'll make a motion for the historical archival preservation supplies in the amount of $167.18.
Second that.
Okay, any questions or comments? All right, all in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
McGuire, aye.
And the line.
Kelly, aye. Okay, back to the agenda.
Excuse me,
Wait, we still have these two.
you still have at the
Unexpected.
that page, you still have
Unexpected obligated
unexpended.
remaining.
Those are the amounts, the NSA door project, that was the replacement for the ADA compliance for the town hall and the annex, and the electronic voting equipment. So both those projects are complete, and these are the remaining amounts. So just want a motion to
So this is money that's going back.
reallocate those
Yeah,
into the ARPA distribution.
okay, that was part of this number. All right, so you want to just make a motion to accept that money back?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to accept the amount of $506.63 for the NSA door.
Second.
All right? There's no discussion? And all in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
McGuire, aye.
And the line.
Kelly, aye.
I'd also like to make a motion in the amount of $1,525.11 for the electronic voting equipment.
Okay.
Second that.
All right. All in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
There's motions that were written for, otherwise, just the way that they are, it doesn't really describe for the, these will be audited, so you really want to make sure
Let's
we're clear.
rescind that, let's rescind that motion.
Rescind those two
Rescind.
motions
Yep. And then here,
and write it,
up here.
right at the
Yep.
top.
Yep, that's what I'm saying, back up.
Those 2 bullets are included in the motion.
Okay, so we want to take back all, rescind both of those motions? All right, I'd like to make a new motion.
Wait, you need a motion to rescind this.
Okay.
I make a motion to rescind the last two.
The NSA door.
Yep, the NSA door and the
Okay.
electronic equipment.
Okay.
Yep. And so
We have a motion for that, we have a second?
Second that.
All right. All in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
McGuire, aye.
And the line.
Kelly, aye. Now we have the new ones.
Now I'd like to make a motion
Right at the top. Yeah.
2 bullets.
for the NSA door in the amount of,
Yep, I'm sorry, she wants it just like this.
just,
Yep.
okay, I'd like to make the motion Move to reallocate the previously obligated opera funds from the following accounts. The NSA door in the amount of $506.63 for the ADA compliant door installation at Town Hall and annex project completed.
Second.
All in favor?
Adam's aye.
Oh, you got two?
Yeah, you want to move separately?
That's fine, yes, that's fine.
Okay. You voted yes, you voted yes.
Yes.
Randall, yes.
Kelly, aye.
I'd like to make a motion to reallocate the previously obligated opera funds from the following. The electronic voting equipment in the amount of $1,525.11 for the project completed.
Second.
Discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
Dwyer, aye.
Randall, aye.
Kelly, aye. Okay, now back to the agenda. So we've already done that, the last one, the consideration of the ARPA.
Yep.
So at this point, we will just announce that the next meeting of the Board of Selectmen will be held on Monday, December 16th, 2024, 6 o'clock here at the school.
All right, so just to make clear with Marie that the amount that's going forward is $67,669,088.88. And that will be voted on.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
Dwyer, aye.
Randall, aye.
Kelly, aye. Thank you all.